Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Zachman Movie Rants ratings of the 2017 superhero movies. 2017 was a good year for film as a whole, but for superhero movies, it was pretty dang solid. There weren't even any bad ones. Well, ones that came close. Really close. But more on that later. Let's get into it, going from 6th to 1st of the least to greatest superhero movies of 2017. Number 6, Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was interesting. And I think that's the most positive thing I can say about this one. Because as a movie itself, it honestly wasn't bad. It's just so different from the other two that I felt like kind of slapped in the face almost. With some characters that they did away with almost instantaneously and who had barely any lines, who were major characters in the first two, felt like they were minuscule characters, almost a guest cameo for this third one. It doesn't necessarily feel like a Thor movie until it's back on Asgard for the 30 minutes total screen time and the fact that it has Chris Hemsworth in it and the title of Thor slapped on it. Otherwise, it's, hate to say it, due date in space. It's the plot of I need to get home before XY happens, along with various miscellaneous characters along the way who are zany, trying to get in your way, trying to kill the main characters. Moreover, they kind of combine two comic arcs that really shouldn't have been combined, like Thor Ragnarok and Planet Hulk. Now, Ragnarok I understand why they didn't go with. There's a lot of weird things that happen inside it. However, they could have tried to play alongside the elements of it and incorporate them instead of just, oh, it's Thor, but he goes to the planet in Planet Hulk. Moreover, Planet Hulk wasn't fully done justice either. I really wish Marvel Studios would have waited to just buy the rights to a solo Hulk movie and do it, because they made what was a very serious and ominous story about who Hulk really is turned into nothing but, at times, literally a joke. There's so much slapstick and occasional bathroom humor, and it doesn't feel like a Thor movie to me. Not that that's always a bad thing, but I personally was let down. Overall rating, 6 out of 10. Number 5, Justice League. Justice League surprised me, to say the least. For a DC movie that wasn't an origin movie, it's pretty good. As much as the critics like to bash on it and fanboys like to say, meh, it wasn't a Marvel movie, it's fun. It feels like you're reading a comic book, and to me, that's what any good superhero movie should be. It should feel that experience of seeing your heroes and seeing them save the world. Even if it was cheesy at times, there's nothing wrong with a good kind of cheesy. But the bad kind of cheesy, we won't get into. Irregardless, I came out of Justice League more satisfied, honestly, than I was with Thor Ragnarok. I'd purposely underhyped both so I wouldn't have any over expectations or wouldn't be too let down, and that still happened. But it was a good surprise. It's like when you walk into your room on your birthday and see one thing that your parents got you that you really wanted. And that's what Justice League was for fans like me. Was it a perfect movie? No. But I'm not asking it to be. I'm not asking for any movie to be perfect. I'm asking it for it to be fun and to see these costume heroes save the day and save the world. Because a good superhero movie should be inspiring nonetheless. It should make you feel a range of emotions, like sad and happy, or thoughtful and laugh. It shouldn't be just a comedy, or it shouldn't be super dark just for the sake of being dark. Regardless of, the characters are really well developed. Ezra Miller did a way better job than I thought he would, and Cyborg said booyah. That's all I needed out of that. Each time I watched it, I jumped out of my seat at that moment, regardless of how many people were in the theater. Like, that Teen Titans callback was what I needed to settle the movie. Final rating, 7 out of 10. Number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, I know friends and family of mine are going to flip once they see a Guardians of the Galaxy movie this low on a list. But in all honesty, the remaining 3 just knocked it out of the park for me. Not to say I didn't love this one, because I did. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was so full of humor and heart that it feels just like the first one, but better where it needs to be. Some things kind of even out with the soundtrack better than the first one, but the flow of the movie a little lackluster. Or characters super well developed, but the villain's still kind of meh as a storytelling point. I really liked who it was, without spoiling it, because it was kind of easy to see what they were going with it, but also one of the twists where you didn't want it to happen. Regardless, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is a good sequel. something that superhero movies usually don't do. Moreover, if they're a Marvel Studios one. But it exceeded expectations. It was solid. Like I said, it was funny, super heartfelt, and just was great all around. It does try at times a little too hard to be funny, but I overlook it because that's something you expect when going to a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, not a Thor one. Shade aside, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is solid. It is funny. I've watched it so many times already on DVD, and I can't get enough of it, just like the first one. Final rating, 8.5 out of 10. Number 3, SpiderMan Homecoming. SpiderMan Homecoming was quite the sight for Spidey sore eyes. After the messes that were Spider-Man 3 and admittedly The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with so many villains and so many stories tied into one, it was satisfying to see our boy in blue and red finally done justice. Marvel Studios had reinvented the Spider-Man formula after 6 movies. This is the 6th one, and they still made it so original and entertaining and wonderful. And as a comic fan and a die-hard Spider-Man fan, I loved it. The villain was awesome. I was a little nervous when they first announced that Vulture would be the villain, but very excited once they revealed the casting as Michael Keaton. It's so wonderful, to put it simply, to see a villain and hero both act as great as each other and be as entertaining as they are on screen. And it even has a plot twist that not any other Spider-Man movie has, or very other movies. It's so interesting, and when it hits you, it's nuts. It's just one of those where it just gets you from each side possible. But all in all, it is a great movie. It's just one of Marvel's best so far. It's the best solo movie, save for Winter Soldier. And it's just great to see Spidey done right. They made him funny. They made him likable. There was no Shakespeare love interest. It's just a girl he has a crush on. That's the Spider-Man I know. The kid, not the, oh, I was in high school for a little bit. Now I'm an adult. It was terrible to see him be a kid for one movie max. Where in this one, he is. And is going to be in Infinity War and the Homecoming sequel and whatever other ones he's in. Tom Holland has done great since Civil War and will be great through Infinity War and on. Final rating, 9 out of 10. Number 2, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was, oh my gosh, I don't know where to begin. Wonder Woman was amazing. It is the best origin movie, in my opinion, for a superhero movie, and is what DC needed to get right back on track. It was a massive step forward. It was the first DC movie to get a fresh from Rotten Tomatoes of these new ones, and just the critics all around loved it. And they're right. For once, I agree with how critics felt with the movie. I know, shocked me too. But Wonder Woman was awesome. The action was great. The cast was phenomenal. Everyone played off each other really well. And the story was so interesting and enthralling. It didn't feel like you were just sitting in a chair for 2.5 hours. It felt like you were a part of something and experiencing the creation of this new character. And they tied it in so well to the other DC movies so far, with her working for Batman already, and it being an old photo he found. Something that he gave to her so they could have a friendship, so they could understand each other. And that's what the movie is about, is finding a connection with people, regardless of what type it is. They could have easily just made it a whole, like, oh, Wonder Woman doesn't even need a man, yaga, yaga, yaga. But they didn't. They went a good route. The good cheesy that I'm talking about. And it's heartfelt and breaking. And it's just a wonderful story all around. It's one that doesn't get old. And I lost my eyeballs from the flood of tears that came each time I watched it in theaters. And every time I watch it on DVD, I'm probably going to do the same thing and go through like 12 boxes of Kleenex per viewing. But Wonder Woman did what no other movie really could, in the sense that it was all around inspiring. It wasn't just, oh, you see the person flying through the air. And it wasn't like Justice League where you just see the group together. It was, you saw Wonder Woman saving actual people, like in front, like right in front of them. It wasn't just, oh, there's some kids in Mexico where their oil is, insert random scenario here that Superman's done so many times. She's saving people in the middle of a world war, and her reaction when she sees this chaos go down is great as an avatar for the viewer, in the sense that our heart aches with her, is that we feel her pain. The emotions that she feels regardless of what she's in. And Gal Gadot is a great actress. I know there's been some criticisms of how she plays out, but even in the real world, she's Wonder Woman. Like, she was a former Israeli soldier. She's a mom. Moms are awesome. Like, just saying, throwing that out there. And Wonder Woman was just what makes a movie in general good. It was great as a movie and a superhero movie. But there's only one more that could top what it did. Final rating, 9.5 out of 10. And number one is, of course, Logan. Logan was hands down the best superhero movie of this year. Maybe even ever. In my opinion, it totally transcends the whole actual superhero genre and feels more of a Western that just happens to star Wolverine. And I can't think of anything else more awesome and just gritty and gnarly as that. Because the source material, Logan, is great. It is a fun, crazy graphic novel, but at times it's really gimmicky. And luckily and amazingly, Logan was one of the very few adaptations where the movie is better than the book. Yes, I said it. Even about a comic book. It's crazy to think that such a thing could even happen, considering we always have the problem with, oh, they didn't do this villain right or this story right. Whereas Logan just followed the story as close it could without certain characters, given that this is before Fox was bought out by Disney. But is still just a crazy, good, and raw story. It goes deeper than just, oh, doing the good thing is the right thing. You know, like most superhero movies are. As much as I love them, they aren't as filled with messages or aren't filled with deep thoughts or deep messages. But Logan defines what makes a man. It's about the choices he's made in his life, his past, and what adds up to the end of it, essentially. As he has to deal with the people he's killed in the past, his friends who have died throughout his whole life. And it's just a wonderful love letter to the Wolverine legacy as a whole. It's the Wolverine bloody, gritty, gory movie that we've been waiting for, that fans see in the comics. Logan is just perfect. There's a few things I have a problem with, but it's really minuscule and very minor in comparison to anything major that would take away from it. And is one of the only few movies that I will give a 10 out of 10. Because it's just that good. Like, it is the pinnacle of anything Fox can do. It's the best X-Men movie. It's better than all the Marvel movies, and I love it. I adore every part of it, but I think the thing I love the most is just how I feel when I watch it, because it's not something I can just rewatch over and over as much as I want to, because it's so emotionally intense and gripping that it would literally tear my heart to little pieces with 3 claws in its hand if I were to do that. But I think that's why I like it. It almost feels like it's a sacred movie at being the top dog and what setting the bar for what other superhero movies should do. They shouldn't just be, oh, it's a guy in a cape, cool. Because while I am a fan of that, as I've stated, I want to see something more with these characters. And this built them so well. And was the ultimate tribute to Hugh Jackman's legacy, as well as Patrick Stewart's as Professor X. And that's why it's the best superhero movie of 2017. So there you have it. That was my 2017 superhero movie ranking. If you liked it, cool. Leave one. Tell everybody you know about it. Subscribe. Or leave a comment telling me how wrong I was to place Thor at the very bottom of the list, or how Wonder Woman was actually just feminist propaganda. It really wasn't, but there's people who think that. Thanks for watching.